I was hoping we were chosen a bit lower, to be honest with you. You know, we've always played well as the underdog, and I think we have guys who have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder and like to be underestimated. So we're glad we were picked where we're at. It gives us a little bit of motivation and fuels the fire a little bit for us.
To underdogs, a bold statement from Quinnipiac men's soccer coach Eric DeCosta. Welcome to Sports Paws, everyone. I'm John Alba.
And I'm Ryan Soravilla. We've got a packed show for you tonight, so let's get right underway, starting with DeCosta's men's soccer squad.
What better way to start off Sports Paws than with a highlight? Boston College, Quinnipiac. And hey, let's get right underway here in the first half. Quinnipiac on the corner kick. James Doig sends it up front, and Shaquille Huggins puts it on the net, but it is saved by the goalkeeper, Alex Capp. The game still knotted up at 0 to start. Boston College put a little pressure on now. Now Cole DeNormandy sends the ball out, but Stevenson Hockey is there to break things up. Hockey need to have an interesting weekend. We talk a little bit about that a little later on. Quinnipiac's got a chance here, sending the ball up into the defensive zone of Boston College, putting the ball on net, but a nice save just past the top of the crossbar. Game still knotted up at 0, and near the end of the first half, though, Derek Boateng shoots. He collects the ball first, now sends it towards the net, out past the outstretched arms of Borja and Goita. Boston College, they're up 1. Now we head to the second half here. The throw-in by BC. It's headed in by DeNormandy and saved by Borja and Goita. He was one of the best players all last season in the match, showing why there. Quinnipiac now applying a little pressure. Stevenson Hockey sends it in, and the attempt by Rafael Carvalho can't find the net. This would seem to be the motif of the Quinnipiac season thus far, and Boston College, well, let's put a little icing on that cake. That's at least what they're trying to do, but, well, they'll find a way to do it here. As Boateng lost the ball inside, and Isaac Normacinu sends the ball out. And now we see towards the end of the game as the Bobcats just attempt to get that final offensive opportunity. James Greco can't get Marshall Baker to put it in. Boston College takes it 2-0, and now we got another game coming up.
From the ACC to the Big East, Quinnipiac and Providence on Sunday. As you see, Quinnipiac is huddled up next to their bench talking about their previous game against Boston College and how they can come off that loss. To start the game, Quinnipiac crosses it in, and Shaquille Huggins starts off the game strong with a goal. Quinnipiac leads 1-0. Providence then is pushing up on Quinnipiac. A shot is taken on net, now is saved by a Quinnipiac defender, but the rebound is found by Providence, the offenseman, and put in net.
Gotta love the one-timer.
Yes, the score is now tied up 1-1. Quinnipiac now takes the lead back with a rebound that finds Marshall Baker.
Couldn't do it in the first game, but he got it done there, Ryan.
Yeah, exactly. 2-1 Quinnipiac going into the second half. Now, as you see on this play, if you see on top of your screen, Stevenson Hockey pulls up with apparent leg injury.
I wasn't lying. I said he was going to have a busy weekend.
You did say he had a busy weekend. Trainers then go on field to check him out. He is then carted off. We are uncertain of his return back to the field. Now Providence is on the attack. They send it in towards Borja on Goita, and he makes the save off of the header.
It's easy for him.
It is quite easy for him, actually. Bobcats then pushing up again on a free kick. Shot goes wide. Score remains 2-1. Pushing up again. Quinnipiac sends it in to the box. Shot on goal and scored by James Doig. Quinnipiac leads 3-1. Now, after this goal, you can see that next to the Quinnipiac bench, there's a scuffle between a Providence player and a Quinnipiac player.
It's this out-of-conference play, man. These teams, they get heated.
You know what? I think it's because they're a Big East team and we are a small MAC team.
Well, Quinnipiac is a small MAC team, but hey, guys, respect. It's the name of the game. That's what the NCAA tells us.
Exactly. Quinnipiac picks up their first win of the season.
Wednesday, October 23rd, 2013. Let's hop in the DeLorean for a second, Ryan. It was a 42-degree day under cloudy, sunny skies here in beautiful, scenic Hamden, Connecticut.
Quinnipiac women's soccer player Jessica Fontaine poked a loose ball into the net 21 minutes and 40 seconds into the match against Manhattan, which would be good enough to give the Bobcats a 1-0 win against the Jaspers. The issue? That was the last time a Quinnipiac player scored during game action. The Bobcats have played 5 games since a total of 548 minutes and 10 seconds. We did the math. And they're looking to change that headed into their game against the Bulldogs of Yale this past Friday. Now it's 548, 10 minutes 10 seconds there. Lords Royals was #1 on the Billboard's Hot 100 the last time. Red Sox, they just won Game 1 of the World Series. What does the Fox say? Remember that song? What does the Fox say? I remember that song. That was happening on October 23rd, 2013. And yeah, the Brooklyn Nets retired Jason Kidd's number that same exact week. How did that work out for you? Let's head over to the highlight now. Women's soccer looking to put up a goal against the Yale Bulldogs. It's not exactly the hockey matchup that we're accustomed to seeing, but we'll head over to Reese Stadium over in New Hay to see what would go down. So early on here, you see the Bobcats getting set in the first half. Caitlin Shaw, the senior, she's going to send a shot on the goal, but it is saved by Elise Wilcox. We're not up at 0. Sarah Pandolfi into Wilcox again. The Bobcats, shot after shot after shot, cannot get anything to fall. Wilcox even ran into the post there. Nothing would go down for Quinnipiac. A little later on, you see the Bulldogs trying to put something out on the net. They're able to find the back of the net. That was Carlin Hudson finding the outstretched arm of Grotsky. And you got to say, Ryan, this Bobcats team, it really has been a struggle all season long. Cannot find anything. At this point, it almost becomes an embarrassment for you. As we go forward here, you see all these attempted shots by Yale, shots going high. Neither of these teams had an easy time finding the net. The corner here by the Bulldogs is saved there by Natalia Grotsky. It was one of her saves on the evening. She's been a force back in the net, keeping the Bobcats into the games. But unfortunately for Quinnipiac, things just haven't worked out. As Geneva Decker scored there to make the score 2-0. And Christina Cesarini put another shot on for Quinnipiac, and one more shot, and Pandolfi's volley goes wide. The Bobcats lose 2-0. Quinnipiac 0-4 on the season thus far. So it's now been 639 minutes and 10 seconds since that last goal in October. Quinnipiac has put up 50 shots in that time period with not one finding the net. The 0-4 Bobcats will have a chance to change their luck this Saturday as they take on the Vermont Catamounts in one of the squad's final out-of-conference games. And we're going to take a quick break here on Sports Paws. When we come back, we'll have more.
Cat Shop, located at 1010 Sherman Avenue in Hamden. Your #1 choice for Bobcat merchandise. The Bobcat Shop features 2 floors of countless styles and colors. With a full 19,000 square foot screen printing and embroidery operation on the premises, Campus Customs and Simplify can design and decorate any garment or promotional product as quickly as needed. Stop in and say hi.
I could really go for a Ray and Mike sub right now.
Come to Ray and Mike's and try our Philly chicken with cheese for just over $4, giant cheesesteak subs, and mouth-watering boar's head sandwiches for as low as $4.75. Q-Cash accepted just a mile down the road on Whitney, here at Ray and Mike's.
The Bobcat Shop, located at 1010 Sherman Avenue in Hamden. Your #1 choice for Bobcat merchandise. The Bobcat Shop features 2 floors of countless styles and colors. With a full 19,000 square foot screen printing and embroidery operation on the premises, Campus Customs and Simplify can design and decorate any garment or promotional product as quickly as needed. Stop in and say hi.
I could really go for a Ray and Mike sub right now.
come to Ray and Mike's and try our Philly chicken with cheese for just over $4, giant cheesesteak subs, and mouth-watering boar's head sandwiches for as low as $4.75. Q Cash accepted just a mile down the road on Whitney, here at Ray and Mike's.
Back here on Sports Paws, Rugby in action against Army. First half, here we go. Quinnipiac opens up at home. Army then gets their first real chance to score, but Natalie Costco tracks down the Black Knight, and Quinnipiac takes possession. A few minutes later, Army's on another attack, but again, Natalie Costco catches up to her and takes her down.
She's a force.
She is a force. And then later on in the game, Costco converts on a try assisted by Elena Orlando. That extends the Bobcats' lead to 24-0. Army then would respond with the try of their own from number 13. It was their first point of the game. Then a conversion by Army makes the lead 24-7 Quinnipiac. Right before the end of the first half, Costco is just she comes up short of her third try of the game. Try again, exactly. Now into the second half. Costco switches the field on a reverse, and she gets her third try. Yes, John, she makes that try.
Like a hat trick.
Exactly. Aine McKeever is then going to attempt a conversion. She makes it, and she goes 5 for 8 in the game.
I smell foreshadowing.
Becky Carlson and her staff are now enjoying a solid lead against Army. They get their revenge against them from the 41-5 loss last year. Bobcats then score again. Quinnipiac is going to go on to win the game 50-17. They improve to 2-0.
Well, our colleagues on Bobcat Breakdown had a chance to take a deeper look into the match between Quinnipiac and Army on Monday night.
So, Maury, as you were seeing this team playing in their home opener, what are your overall impressions of the team after the first two games?
Tom, this team is scary good. Becky Carlson has a ton of talent across the board, starting with Natalie Costco up top. And the whole team, just a talented bunch. They have a lot of good chemistry. They blew out Army 50-17, as you mentioned, on Saturday in their home opener. And that was an Army team who went to the Final Four last year. So if they can play as good as they did on Saturday, I don't see them losing anytime soon in the regular season.
And Connor, what about you?
Oh, I have to agree. I mean, it's really hard to say anything else. They've been dominant so far, as Maury just said. They won 50-17 against an Army team who made the Final Four last year, and two of the three tries that Army scored, one was complacent and one was off a missed line out, which was right by the end goal area. So Army really didn't take advantage of anything. Quinnipiac possessed the ball, they kept the ball, they got it back. They were able to make stops on the goal line and really show that what they're made of offensively and defensively.
Yeah, they began the game very defensive-minded and leading into each of the offensive possessions, as I mentioned. And we also noticed that Army came into this game as a better ranking than Quinnipiac, and definitely Quinnipiac took advantage of the game. Maury, what did you have to say?
Yeah, Army came in at 6th in the country. Quinnipiac was 11th. One thing I want to mention, though, Quinnipiac got off to a very slow start. It took over 20 minutes to get the first points on the board. When Quinnipiac plays Dartmouth this Saturday, the following weekend against Norwich, who blew Quinnipiac out last year here at home, Quinnipiac has to jump out to an early lead and have that confidence booster from the start. A slow start against a good team may result in a deficit at halftime, and we haven't seen the Bobcats have a deficit this season so far, but down the road, I don't know if it's going to be good for the Bobcats facing a deficit.
And definitely, Maury, and you're leading me into our next question here. So the team performed well last season, leading up to a playoff berth, but they failed to get past the first round. And so in order to get over that hump and possibly win a national championship, Connor, what other player besides Natalie Costco needs to step up their game to a completely another level in order to help them team get over that hump?
To be honest, early on in this season, it is kind of difficult to say. Every player has been really uniquely dominant in their own way. However, I'd have to say Elisa Cuellar, she's an important part of the offense for the Bobcats. She's on the opposite side of Costco, so when Costco's not available to be open, they got to get that ball to Cuellar. And Cuellar, she's a small girl at 5'1". She can get in between some of those taller tacklers. She had, I believe, she had a try in the last game. She's been all over the ball. She's actually been making a lot of good catches on laterals that were misthrown. She's a great ball handler. Really, if they can get her in the game and get her some big runs, she can really make a big.
Tom, Connor, it's got to be sophomore Maggie Miles. She had 17 tackles against Life University in their first game. She comes from a family that has been all about rugby their whole life. Her grandfather, father, and brother all played in college. At the age of 14, she was on an Eastern Pennsylvania rugby team, an all-star team training with some of the best players in the Mid-Atlantic region. She was the youngest player on that team. She was also on an under-17 United States of America all-star team. And this past summer, 2 summers ago, excuse me, she was on the U20 national team with fellow Bobcat Natalie Costco, in which they spent 10 days training up in Lake Placid, New York. She's had a lot of experience. She's got to step up besides Costco.
But Maury, you're talking about a sophomore on this team, and neither of you mentioned any of the senior leaders on this team who may have had productive seasons last year, but they could maybe even step up their game to another level to help players like Natalie Costco, like Shannon Durkin, and newcomer Aine McKeever, even to bring her into the mix as well. Maury, or any of you guys, how come no one said any of the seniors?
Well, I'm pretty sure Cuellar is a senior.
All right, like going back to like other seniors on the team, like any of those senior leaders.
I like Jen Solomon, Tom. She's been with the program since they started in 2011. In her first year, they were 3-5-1. Her sophomore year, they went 15-1 and lost in the national semifinals, ended up winning the third-place consolation game. She's been with them through the start, and Solomon is a great body on the field, calms a lot of the younger players down, and really helps this team gel.
Former women's soccer player turned rugby fullback Aine McKeever is the talk of the team this season. We had a chance to sit down and talk with her earlier this week and discuss the transition from one pitch to another.
I played Gaelic football in Ireland, which shares some similarities, but I was just always soccer from day one. And then I decided last spring that I was going to pursue a master's degree. So then it just coach asked me that, my eligibility had finished for soccer, but I had 1 more year left. So she asked me would I be interested in rugby, and I leaped at that opportunity. It's a different sport, so it has different demands. I laugh with the girls in the athletic training room because, after the game I'm starting to get sore in my upper body, and I've never had that with soccer. So, but it's fun. It's enjoyable, and I'm learning the experience from the players that have played for many years, and of course the coaches. Everyone's been tremendous. Both coaches, Coach Carlson and Coach Reid, have to take a huge amount of respect from me. That they've brought me in here and they've basically taught me it from scratch, and they've been very patient with me, and so have the teammates. They've been tremendous as well. They're experienced. They've played the game for many years, but they also had to start off at one point of not knowing. So I think they're very considerate. In similarities to soccer, you visualize, you see everything in front. So I think that's helped me because as a centre mid, and I played defence as well at soccer, then I get visual cues from watching the plays. So I think it suits me. Yeah, I mean it's very similar. Any field sport I think there's definitely transfer of skills mentally and also physically. I think in my position, I'm primarily a kicker, and that's everything in soccer that you just have to transfer over. Yeah, it's a different shape of a ball, but once the coach tells me a certain technique and how to approach the ball, then it just kind of comes. Honestly, I think everyone. I genuinely mean that. Everyone has been fantastic. I get frustrated at practice when I don't necessarily know how to ruck or tackle or what else, but all the girls have been very, as I said before, very patient, because it's their practice too, and I might, break down of a skill, and they're willing to say, hey, we had to learn at one stage too, so we're here with you. So the team spirit's fantastic. The first, we had the game in Georgia, which was nerve-wracking. It was my first ever rugby game, but I think the one that we had here last week against Army, and we had a huge turnout of spectators, and coach had told us before the game, hey, this is the game of emphasis. So you all have to go out there and impress and entertain. And because rugby is such a new sport, it's important for us to share with other Americans that, hey, this is a sport and this is what we're about. But yeah, it's first game, soccer team are coming to see. You know, it was a lot of pressure, but we entertained and we did what coach wanted us to do. Again, for me, it's the unknown. I don't necessarily know the teams. I'm not familiar with them, but I think we're really shooting here for nationals. The coach seems pretty confident that we can go far, and you know, she's always there. The coaching staff in general are always trying to make improvements to our game, never settle. So I think a national shot.
Field hockey hasn't exactly had the easiest road to MAC play thus far this season. 2 of its first 3 contests were against nationally ranked top 15 opponents. The first affair with number 13 Boston College ended in a 3-0 home loss, one that saw Quinnipiac goalie Megan Conboy pocket 11 saves. With number 8 Penn State in town, it would be the Conboy show once more. Quinnipiac and Penn State and Nittany Lions, they've got something to cheer about after the recent news of the NCAA acquitting them and allowing them to be bowl eligible. But this is on the turf instead. Megan Conboy, she makes the first save here, and Jenna Christmer passes over to Taylor Harold, who scores. Nittany Lions up 1-0, and now Conboy, like I said, this was all about her. She's making save after save after save. Contested shot going up high. Deflects it out of the way, but Penn State would strike again. Taylor Harold again. 1 + 1 = 2. Her second goal of the afternoon. The shot by Bethany Mink this time, though, is saved by Conboy. She also collects the rebound shot, and we move forward to Penn State again on the offensive. Conboy, she stops Harold from picking up the hat trick here, and she jumps in front of the ball and saves it. But the Nittany Lions, they would strike again. Laura Gebhardt shoots a past Conboy for the goal. Penn State leads 3-0, and the Bobcats defense can't give Conboy any support here, making all these crazy saves, and it's just not working out for the Bobcats as Casey Marino puts the Nittany Lions up 4-0, and a little later on, we're going to see a shot from the corner, but Kylie Licata, she's going to make a few saves on Quinnipiac, and the Bobcats just have absolutely struggled their way as you see the Nittany Lions score once more here. And now we head to the second half, and you're going to see Licata's save. This really was just a rough outing for Quinnipiac. It has been a tumultuous affair as they head into conference play, last year winning the MAC championship, and now it's just not working out for them. 3-1 are the Nittany Lions, 0-3 are the Bobcats.
Someone took notice to Conboy's performance, even if the box score doesn't give it credit. The senior took home her second consecutive MAC Defensive Player of the Week award on Tuesday, her 5th overall. Her 22 saves against Penn State were the most in an NCAA game this season for any goalkeeper, with no one topping 16 this season. The number also serves as a career high for Conboy and helped her move into the top 12 nationally with a .811 save percentage.
Well, that's not bad, Ryan, but when we return, Q30 Sports had an opportunity to visit the Chinese national women's hockey team as they participate at the TD Bank Sports Center. And a look at Quinnipiac women's basketball's upcoming road to the MAC tournament. We'll be right back.
The Bobcat Shop, located at 1010 Sherman Avenue in Hamden. Your #1 choice for Bobcat merchandise. The Bobcat Shop features 2 floors of countless styles and colors. With a full 19,000 square foot screen printing and embroidery operation on the premises, Campus Customs and Simplify can design and decorate any garment or promotional product as quickly as needed. Stop in and say hi.
I could really go for a Ray and Mike sub right now.
Come to Ray and Mike's and try our Philly chicken with cheese for just over $4, giant cheesesteak subs, and mouth-watering boar's head sandwiches for as low as $4.75. Q-Cash accepted just a mile down the road on Whitney, here at Ray and Mike's.
The Chinese women's national hockey team will be practicing at Quinnipiac for the next 3 weeks. The team will round up its practices with an exhibition match against the Quinnipiac women's ice hockey team on September 20th. Q30 Sports sat down with someone from the Chinese national team to find out more.
可以向美国队学习到一些我们就是未曾学习到的东西，然后可以帮助我们的队伍来更进一步的升华我们的队伍，然后让大家的整体水平然后有一个提高。就是觉得可以跟这里学习到很多东西，然后来提升队伍，然后剩下没有什么了，就是希望就是学到他们的更专业性的这种，然后是比如说是从意识上，然后到身体冲撞各方面。 然后都需要向他们学习。Very important thing is for the power. It's for power. We doesn't have enough power. I think we need to more power training. I think the American body has a very big body, a very big muscle. So we just need to more training. I think the most important thing is not about win or lose. We just want to learn something for us.
The Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference released its 2014-2015 women's basketball schedule Tuesday. Bobcats start their swing with a matchup against Siena on December 5th at home and close out against Monmouth on March 1st. Other notable dates include January 22nd and February 12th, both of which will see Quinnipiac and Marist lock up in a rematch of last year's conference title game. QU opens its season on November 15th against Army at Lender Court.
Quinnipiac women's volleyball got off to a 1-2 record before last Wednesday's matchup against UMass Lowell. The Riverhawks have not picked up a win before entering the game on Tuesday against the Bobcats, dropping their first 4 matches of the season. Which team would end up with the W? We're going to take a look at that right now, going into the game. So in the first set, the Riverhawks start off strong with Anissa Smith getting set up for the kill, and it puts the Riverhawks up 5-2 early on.
Chris Saplinski can't be too happy about that one, Ryan.
No, she cannot. He cannot. Bobcats can't find their stride. Still, they are having communication issues getting the ball. Quinnipiac loses the first set, 25-17. Again in the second set, Quinnipiac is finding trouble seeing who is going to hit the ball. So, John, I don't see how this is going to... It's a problem.
You got to call, I got it. I got it. That's just like baseball.
Exactly. So UMass Lowell continues to pound against the defense of Quinnipiac. So Riverhawks finish up this second set strong and take...
Hey, that's an unforced error there by Quinnipiac. Just right against the net. Quinnipiac's dropping the set already.
Exactly. Quinnipiac loses that set 25-17. Now onto the third set. Quinnipiac loses... Still can't find momentum, and they are down 5-3 early on. Hannah Ray of UMass still dominating in the service. Quinnipiac is on their final limb. Bobcats trying to stay alive. Elisa Lay with the kill. But the Riverhawks are dominating as they have the entire game, and they finish up the game winning the third set 25-19.
Set up the kill and put them away. Putting down the Bobcats just like that. It's a bad loss for them, Ryan.
And they've lost their third straight game, John. Well, that's all we have for tonight.
And check out Q30television.com. Follow us on Twitter at Q30 Sports for more information. I'm John Alba.
And I'm Ryan Soravilla. We'll see you next Tuesday night right here on Q30 at 9:30. Have a good night, everybody.